And hello.
Hello.
Welcome everybody to another version of, well, the dev stream.
Indeed, for Tusk Force today.
Yes.
I quite like the name. I was saying earlier that it reminds me of the name of like a film that Red Letter Media would review. I found that quite funny. But no, yeah, we've got quite a lot to show today.
Yes.
We'll try and be quite brief. I was people here to look at all the new stuff and
Yes.
don't really need us waffling for too long. So thank you very much for being here. And we will, I guess, begin.
I think quite immediately. You have something you want to look at first, I believe?
Of course, I've got like a lot of monologue-y ones at the start here.
All right.
To start with. So firstly, I can show you the B-66B, which is beautiful, really. I really like bombers as aircraft, basically. And so this is a really, really sleek one. So it's quite rudimentary in terms of armament. It does have a twin tail gunner at the back. I think it's radar assisted. The radar's not completely set up yet. It's pretty fast, not very maneuverable. In terms of ordnance, you have some chunky bombs and some small bombs, depending on what you like. And it does also have a very nice cockpit as well, which I'll show you. There we go. Very nice, very sleek. Lots of detail. I like though as well, there was a box that just served to point to where the thermos was, which was quite funny to me. And no, it's a very pretty plane. So I believe it is radar assisted in some form, the tail gunner. But in terms of maneuverability, you are quite limited. No countermeasures. It is quite sluggy. But a good enough altitude and a good enough speed, you're going to be able to do some fairly decent work. It's quite easy to counter it just because your arc of fire is very predictable and very limited. But it's a really nice plane. I'm really glad to...
I guess it's jet powered, and as a bomber, you're going to be quite fast. So you're probably not going to have somebody be coming in from like a side angle for too long. No,
and it's mobile and agile enough to be able to adapt for that. So it's going to be nice. Really happy to see it. I don't know if it had many other skins, but hopefully we can get some for that. It also has the very shiny metal texture as well. Just I don't know, the tiny things that I like. Anyway, next we can show you the M55. So this is coming for quite a few nations, and it makes for a really good lineup vehicle. And the reason for this wide edition really is that this kind of vehicle is completely up-tier proof, and it works on any kind of map in any situation. Like, because its drawbacks are always going to be there and its advantages are always going to be there, it's never really limited by what it fights. So this vehicle is very weak. All the crew are sitting up here, so if you get shot here, it's not going to go too well for you. You might survive a couple of hits down into the lower plate, but into the turret at the back, it's not going to last too long. So it's a nice addition for this because you can use it from, in this case, the preliminary BRS 4.0 all the way up to like 7.0, like pre-stabilizers, and it's going to work exactly the same. So for padding out your lineups and having a vehicle that's always going to work offensively is really good. So it's a nice one to see for that. Its mobility is similar to the M44. It's much heavier with a much more beefier engine. And of course, gun. A very big gun, 203 millimeter. So we'll take a look. Obviously only fires one round. So pretty devastating. But up to a certain point, it stops really mattering too much because you're getting hit by basically a small bomb. So it's pretty powerful. And interestingly, like each shell weighs over 100 kilograms.
You need the family of how many people? The family of six. It is like living in the crew compartment over there, because good luck hauling that.
Absolutely.
100 kilograms is nothing to scoff at, that's for sure.
So yeah, it is actually it is actually turreted. So it might not look like it, but this is a turret, and it can slew 30 degrees in either direction.
That's good. That's like it's kind of joining this like ranks of derp guns that we have in the game. Yeah. Which, like, we've tested it a little bit. I mean, you can shoot lower tier vehicles, of course. I don't think open top vehicles are going to have a lot of fun it's being shot in your direction by this. And I mean, even like high tier vehicles, just like if you know the spots to shoot properly, just, go poof.
Yeah, it's always going to work in that way. So it's a little bit more survivable than the M44, obviously, because it's completely enclosed. But the armor, obviously, very weak, so cannons are still going to chew through it, really. The ballistics on the gun are quite comfy as well, 594 meters a second. So it's pretty comfy to fire as well. And because the gun is so big and so powerful, you don't need to be excruciatingly accurate. So it's pretty forgiving in that way. The reload, though, is twice as long as the M44, like I think almost exactly twice as long. So you are compromising fire rate with a bit more survivability and a bit more forgivingness, I guess on the shell. So pretty nice. We won't cover all of these. They're coming for quite a few new nations, and they're generally the same. So we'll show it to you here in a bit more detail, and then you'll see it in the lineups a bit later. So I'll move on to some of the ships we'll cover briefly. the Charles F. Adams, which I must admit is a ship I don't know a huge amount about. But it does have the SAM launcher at the back here, which I believe is the same system that's on the Douglas Premium, the coastal vessel. So this can be fired against aircraft and surface targets, I believe. And it offensively, aside from that, it uses the same high fire rate guns that's on Wilkinson and Mitchell. So pretty powerful. They've got a really fast fire rate. This thing can be quite mean if you know where to put it. It's also fairly survivable. If you get hit in the engines, the middle, it will chew the crew down quite considerably, but it's quite hard to blow it up, unless you hit here, of course. So it might be a tactic to remove some of those if you don't want to get racked. So we'll also quickly show you Maryland compared to Colorado here. They are very similar. There's not a huge amount of difference with them. It's just that Maryland has the later refit of more anti-air, and like more powerful anti-air. So same with most of the high-tier battleship premiums or just naval premiums in general. They're usually a bit more forgiving in terms of the anti-air protection. So aside from that, it's pretty similar. The armor layout, I think, is basically the same. And you should have the same amount of shells as well. So just a similar version that's a bit more forgiving. It's a nice one as well. They're very, very pretty, these ships.
They are very chunky as well.
They are very chunky, whereas like a lot of the German ones are a bit more sleek.
Yeah, exactly.
So very, very briefly, the A-10 and a couple of other vehicles as well. We'll show you some of them, not all of them.
Yeah.
Have some new modules. So these will affect the RWR here and the weapon guidance and that kind of thing, and an APU at the back. So these impact the damage model a little bit, and the SU-25, we'll show you that later, also has that included too. And finally, I will show you the T-58, which is something I've been looking forward to for quite a while. So there are some caveats with it at the moment, because I know I don't know a huge amount about all the documentation and the specifics of it, but from what I understand at the moment, there are some different reload stats for it. Right now, it's at 3.8 seconds for these 6 rounds in the drum. From what I know, it is an automatic loader, but the drum is operated by the crew, so there is a little bit of variance in the potential reload speed it could have. It does have a rangefinder, but it's modeled right now as just the commander optics, but this will actually be a rangefinder. So it's going to work quite well because you have access to HESH and heat. The HESH has a very, very low muzzle velocity, but it's going to be pretty good with the rangefinder to like plop onto the roof of vehicles that are really far away, because you have a really, really low muzzle velocity.
That arcs a lot.
Yeah, and so the heat as well, pretty powerful. We're not sure at the moment, at least I'm not sure in my superficial knowledge of the vehicle, if it could fire the APHE in the heat, the high explosive, excuse me. We're looking into that, so this might not be completely final, preliminary at the moment. In terms of armor, it's pretty well protected. It's got the standard M103 hull here. The cheeks are pretty nicely protected. You do have a bit of a weak spot underneath the gun, although you can just lower the gun down a little bit and hide it. So you can try that, I suppose. But overall, it's pretty well protected. Against a lot of the more powerful rounds you'll obviously be meeting, it's not going to do a huge amount. But against weaker guns, it's pretty powerful, which for like a heavy vehicle at this battle rating, I think is pretty good. So it's going to be nice. It's going to be interesting to see how it develops. If there are some changes, I don't know. But it's a very nice vehicle. It's one that I've kind of been wanting for almost 10 years, I think. So it's nice to see. Anyway, now I'll move on to you showing something else. Yes. And I will take a break to breathe.
Yes. I've already seen this in the chat. Some people were already noticing it at the end of your lineup there.
Yes.
Coming new next patch, we have the Apache Guardian, which, I mean, we already have Apaches in the game, but there's a unique thing with this one, because as everybody knows, the Hellfires have well, it's not a very limited range. It's still 8 kilometers, right? But it does struggle a little bit. But with, well, the AJM-179 over here as the new missile of choice that you can bring. It's a little bit slower in terms of maximum speed compared to the Hellfire, but it has a much longer guidance time, which means that it can, you know, give you that little bit extra range that you might want to lob at targets from a little bit further away. Because with that range, you can basically stay out of like at least some anti-airs and have a little bit more time before a missile actually like impacts through, which can be the difference between you know, getting a kill or not getting a kill, obviously. So that's a very nice addition. You can bring these. I think on this one is the first helicopter that has them. So that's a very nice addition. And then on the second one that we have, obviously the Apache itself, you know, between the D and the E version, functionally it's still an Apache. You know, you have the main gun, you have the majority of avionics. We have another vehicle that is coming, which is the Stingray. Now, this is a light tank that is predominantly been... yeah, you want to show the stats, of course. That is predominantly in use as a vehicle in Thailand, which is going to also be in the Japanese tree. Features a 105mm gun, not a lot of armor. You're probably not going to be enjoying being shot at anything above, small caliber machine guns.
Very sleek though, like it's very XM8 obviously adjacent, but
I thought the same. I looked a little bit in it. It's not obviously they're not the same vehicle. They are independent developments, but it has some similarities between the two. With the XM8, I always thought, oh god, it's going to topple over. Right? With this one, it doesn't look quite as much, but it kind sleeker. It retains that a little bit. It's it fills a nice gap, especially in the Japanese tree. It fills this kind of like gap of like a high mobility mobile vehicle with a powerful gun.
Yeah, it's nice because a lot of the higher tier American light vehicles have been event vehicles, like the XM8, the CCVL, and AGS, etc. So it's nice to have one like a gun tank like this in the main tree. So very cool. I'm a fan.
Yeah, and I think you're going to have being available in the tech tree is going to be a nice addition. Of a typical 105 kind of reload rate.
Can we have a look at the ammo?
Yes, naturally. We have the M33 and the 420mm pen. I think for 9.3 that is probably not going to be causing you to not be able to pen anything. I think that's ample, powerfulness.
Yep.
Powerfulness?
Ample powerfulness. He's right.
The not native English coming through. I think overall a good addition, as said, also in the Japanese tree. There's another vehicle that I will jump to immediately because it's a feature that I think personally is
this is more one for you.
It's definitely one for me. I will show this for you with the addition of the F-16 Sufa over here.
I just don't know if I like the look of it.
I think this is how do you want to call it?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of F-16 on the screen right now. I think let's just call it that. You have massive amounts of fuel that you can take in this thing. I've put a little bit of a CAS loadout on here right now to also showcase a little bit of that. I've tested around. You can bring up to 6 M120s and all the fuel in the world that you ever want. These like little extra things over here. They are also It's not exactly a very sleek look, These are conformal fuel tanks that you don't have to, have on the vehicle. You can take them off, and then you kind of return into the more regular F-16 look. But of course, for the novelty value, I will keep them on. And I want to show you a feature, so I'm going to go on a custom in a test drive.
Go for it.
Because this is, as mentioned, I think going to make anything that has to do with radar as a mechanic much easier. Because if you've ever played jets in this game and you've played around with radar, you will quickly find out that there is a ton of things that you need to keybind.
Yes.
There's some stuff that is so like almost esoteric in trying to understand what you're doing, that in itself means that you have to, take a lot of time and a lot of experience. And even then, some stuff is really hard to understand. And so there's now an on-screen ability for you to see, A, what you have bound. B, you can just, instead of, binding it, use the buttons by, going with the Alt and the mouse menu. Which means that not only can I just do like the easy stuff that I think, is like standard. I can then deactivate and deactivate it. I can change the scope scale, all of these are almost like the kind of like beginner stuff that you understand quite quickly because you press a button and the feedback is there immediately. Yep. But there's some stuff that really is difficult to do when you just have buttons and you don't really have a lot of feedback on your screen. So I can say I have my radar tracking, and I want my radar to look straight ahead. You see this on your screen with this like the green markers that were already a good addition. But what I can do now is I can slay my radar facing the right. I can move it to the left. I can tell my radar, and in the past, I had to like have keybinds, and I had to like play around, and I had to, kind of have to have an idea of what I was doing in order for that. And that was a lot of effort. But now what I can do is I'm flying, say I'm relatively low, and I want to look up with my radar, and I want to look up to the left, because I know there might be a guy there, and I want to see if he's there. So I mark my radar, and I switch over, and now my radar is looking in that vertical area that I want it to look, right? Say I'm flying high, and I want to look low. Same thing. I can do that now. And then if I get a lock, obviously this thing has a helmet-mounted display, I can lock that. In the past, with, you having to manually do that, I never bothered with like the fine-tuning of this radar stuff, because as I said, it was like a lot of technicality. And if I am in the heat of the moment, when a plane is coming at me at Mach 1 and more, and I'm going towards it at Mach 1 and more, I'm not going to sit here and like try to figure out what I'm doing.
Those things you need to do quickly.
Because now like I recognize there's a guy 10 kilometers over there. I need a radar lock, and then immediately switch over to the I switch immediately over to the radar. I get the lock, and I can immediately lock him. And I can do that without having to switch the direction of orientation of my plane, because I think the majority of people, when they lock something, they either use the ACM mode here, this thing, or they use helmet-mounted display. This just makes the life of everybody easier. Of course, you have all the other functionality over here as well. I can switch between radar and IRST. This is something that I actually never bother with IRST myself. So on the off chance that I somehow manage to switch to that, I always freak out because I don't know how to switch back. Now I have it on my screen, right? The multifunction menu is kind of the same thing. We had some of this already in the game, but if you compare the amount of stuff that you have on your screen right now, if I have to read all of that and try to recognize what I'm actually trying to do, by the time that I figured out what I need to press, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Right? With this,
I think as well, it's such a nice way, especially for newer players. I don't play high-tier jets too much. And so for me, and I imagine a lot of other people as well, it's quite daunting having to kind of work out these complicated systems and having it on the screen, because before they weren't really visible in the same way. You'd need to go in and bind them and stuff. And now they're all there. You can see what they do by hovering over them. You can also optimize this as well. You can hide the buttons, hide the keys, really streamline it if you want. And I think it will make it so that basically everyone can have a much more convenient time and learning radar and be able to use it. So it's really nice. Really
so now, say I want to lock this MiG-15 over here. Go on a more narrow scale. Have my radar look over, orient a little bit down. Should be able to lock it. Launch everything here.
Nice.
I mean, I have 6 M120, so I might as well use 6 M120.
There's new visual effects for missile trails and motors and stuff as well. And quite a lot of new sounds. So the sounds of firing guns from the cockpit and externally, and missile launches as well, all have much more accurate sounds. Like the attack of the sound as well is much clearer. And same for ground force as well. So tank guns and machine guns, they sound different too.
Enough of looking at this. I mean, this is like one of the passion things for me, because I've played too much air. So obviously that's, for me, this is a fantastic feature. But let's look at something else.
Yeah, I'll quickly cover some new additions for Germany in the World War II era. This is the new model for the Tiger II, the pre-series, like the early turret. Well, not pre-series, but the earlier turret. It's really nice because this thing had, for the longest time, it was a very old model, I think, very, very early this one was made. And so seeing it refined here is really nice. So the Swedish captured one already has their model update, but this one is new here. There are some differences, functionally differences. So there's extra track armor on the turret, which actually is fairly useful, especially for this variant. When this turret was manufactured, I don't believe they had the hooks to mount these on. But after like 1944, I think there was a field mods to hook the track armor on. So it's a bit of a later one, I suppose, and a bit rarer. But I think it makes sense to have it on. It works really well because something that this turret does a tiny bit better than the turret on the H version is the turret on the H is completely rounded. So if the tank is looking away from you, this area normalizes and it's a really, really easy shot. And the turret of this one isn't normalized. It's still somewhat angled. So having that alongside the tracks can help you tank some shots there. So the layout has changed a little bit here as well. It's slightly more inward pointing. There is another, I can't show it to you without going into Ansel and upsetting my mouse, but there is another internal bit of armor here. It shouldn't have too much of an effect, but it's like a trunnion, I think, for the gun. I'm not 100% sure. There's also a tiny steel plate here to protect from ammo. This probably won't do too much. But, you know, maybe it can disrupt the incoming shrapnel a little bit. And yeah, it looks really nice. It's got the Zimmer on as well. Very, very pretty model update. And so I think the other Tiger II should have this in the future as well, the immediate future. I don't know if it will be 100% the next update. I would assume so, but I don't know. But it's in the works immediately, so it should be coming quite soon as well. While we're here, I'll also show you the BF109T2 Premium. Now, what does T stand for? Because I can't pronounce it very well. Do you remember?
The Träger, maybe.
I think it's, yeah, carrier, I think it means.
Yeah, Träger. So, that's Träger.
Yeah. So this is the one of the 109 variants that were projected to be operated from the Graf Zeppelin. This is the T2, which doesn't have the carrier equipment on it, so it's a little bit lighter. Aside from that, it's very, very similar to the E4 series. It has longer wings, so the stall speed's a bit better. At some speeds, it's a bit more maneuverable. But aside from that, it's pretty much the same. It has the same ordnance options. I used to think T kind of stood for the German word for torpedo. It doesn't. It's so I was expecting a torpedo, but it doesn't have one.
It only has bombs. Yes,
standard bomb loadout. It does have the FFM cannons, which are better. So one of my favorite aircraft guns in the game. They're super reliable, and I'm going to play this a lot. It's my favorite kind of Emil era of 109s, and it's really, really nice. I think only about 60 of these are made. It's quite a rare 109 overall.
The start of the Träger area.
Yeah. So really nice to see. It's taken quite a while to get a regular premium 109. We've only had the A version, and then the G2, which was removed a while ago. And so to have like an available one is really nice. So
it also was like the E7, which was like an event
from the old Thunder League.
Yeah. Prehistoric war thunder knowledge.
Yeah, I think this is for about 1,300 G roughly. Don't quote me on that. You'll be able to see it after the streams on the dev server. But it's a pretty nice entry level premium, super forgiving platform, of course, and it's lovely to see a new 109. So very happy about that. Yeah, and of course the M55 here as well.
Yeah,
we're seeing a few of these.
There's also a vehicle at the end of your.
Yeah, we'll take a look later if we've got time on the Z51. But you can show some...
Yes. Moving on to something more modern. We have the BMD-4M2 in the Russian tree. Coming, of course, with the 100mm gun, which you will be able to shoot the typical kind of like dual-mounted Russian HE or ATGM, which, Russia is kind of the only nation that really does this kind of like barrel-launched ATGM stuff a lot. And it gives a lot of vehicles a lot of utility. Because, of course, if this just had HE, it would struggle a little bit against very well-armored vehicles, even in this battle rating, because you do have a 30mm gun with the APDS, but it's just kind of like 82mm. But I think good IFV as a vehicle, as a tech-free vehicle. We already have one BMD that was added as an event vehicle,
and the premium as well.
Oh yeah. So
this version, sorry to talk about this version, is very, very similar to the other one. I believe the only real difference, there might be a slightly different reload time for the ATGM, and aside from that, it's just the internal layout of ammo is a little bit different. But other than that, it's very, very similar to the other one.
Yeah, so we checked around. Like I think the smoke launchers are also in like a slightly different,
the turret's slightly different,
position. But it's good to have this as a tech-free vehicle.
Such a nice vehicle, yeah.
To be able to field that as well. Nice little addition. Second vehicle in line. I think this is one that brings a lot more utility. We have one of the huge, like very obvious vehicle. You're not going to be able to hide with that. The book system, which, if you're real here, feels an extremely powerful long-range missile. 1,550 meters per second of launch. The same system where you have TELs that you can deploy with the main radar unit. To me, it's a very iconic vehicle.
It really is.
Very recognizable as well as like the TL system. It's all, just a huge blob of a vehicle in general. A huge radar array as well. Has I will hover over this again so you can have a look. I mean, 70 kilometers. You're probably not going to launch at somebody that is 70 kilometers away, but you could, so there's no escape. Very powerful system.
And the launcher vehicle can operate on its own as well, just not with the same level of complexity, but it can operate.
It has its own tracking radar over here. Again, huge missiles. I think in terms of missile size, correct me if I'm wrong here, but we're like on the upper echelon of like
that's a very
missiles in general that we have.
Very hefty fellow.
Yeah.
How you can put decals on the dish? Actually,
people are going to put decals here. This is like prime real estate right here.
Speaking of decals, we'll have quite a good set of them coming quite soon as well. They're not quite ready yet to show you, but I think people will like them, and you should be able to see those quite soon.
Yes. Then coming up next, we have a new MI-35, the P version. You can already see it up here. We already have one MI-35, and we've had it in the game for a while now.
So one of the first series,
this one now as a squadron reward vehicle. It has the little the same system that you showed on the A10. You can see it here. Like if some of these systems are damaged, you can see.
Yeah, quite a few new helis as well have this too. We probably won't show all of them.
But just hovering, glancing over it here quickly, you can see how like if you damage specific systems, you are going to be able to disable specific portions of what a helicopter does. So that's a good way to counter some of the effectiveness of some helis, definitely. And this is the thing that I wanted to mention. It comes with the Vickers, which these, in my eyes, is just one of the most powerful heli-launched missile that we've had for a very long time in the game. I mean, I think everybody knows the reign of the Ka-52 for a while because of how powerful the Vickers missiles are. Great to see another vehicle that can bring them not just the Ka-52 and Ka-50. As said, with the little avionics blocks that you have here. I think I can show that immediately and switch over to the SU-25 because we mentioned that earlier. It comes with the same thing. Where's the one for the... Well. Yeah, I want to hover over the one. Yeah, the weapon control one. I think especially with the SU-25, I don't know if you want to do head-ons too much.
Yeah, it's going to...
That might be... like it's a very tanky vehicle overall, of course, but if, your weapon systems can't work anymore, might want to reconsider it sometimes. Because
it's a nice change in particular as well. So all of the SU-25s have this as well.
Which, I mean, if we look in the tree itself, there's a bunch at this point. Remember, we only had like, I think, one or two that were in the game, but this is a family of vehicles that has so much utility and so many weapons and so many advanced, capabilities. It's growing. So all of them will have this feature, and
that's a nice one.
Is going to change the dynamic of like, probably how some people will play them and how you can counter them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. You're already looking at, this is one of the Tom vehicles of all time.
He likes to say this all the time.
Yes, but it's true.
I like vehicles like this. This is the Ram 1, probably the rarest version of the Ram, the very, very early one with the 2-pounder in the turret. It does look a little bit anemic to a degree on this platform, but it's a really nice addition. So this is a 3.0 currently. The hull is the same as the regular Ram that we've had in the game for a very long time. The turret is a little bit less protected than the Ram, just with the layers that it has, but still pretty good. So for 3.0, this is going to be like pretty effective overall. It's more like a heavy tank, I suppose. But of course, you do need to cope with the gun, which is a 1.0 gun, effectively. It can work beyond that because it does have a shoulder stabilizer, has APHE for the side shots. The reload is really quick, like 2.8 seconds. So it does fill a kind of role in the British tree that wasn't really there before. Like around this BR, you had like the Matilda, the Valentines, the Cromwell, but they didn't really have the same level of kind of close range mobility that the Ram has. This is quite similar to the Sherman in terms of mobility. So it will let you kind of feel that more frontline aggressive role. And you need to play like that because the gun is obviously quite weak for 3.0 relatively.
What's the pen?
There's, I think it's like 88 or 90 something. Yeah, 80, 89.
Oh, that's better than I expected. This is like huge body and like small head kind of vehicle.
Yeah, so you've got the high pen AP and the APHE for those side shots and weaker vehicles. It works pretty well.
It's a hatch on the side.
Yeah, well, hatch fella. So, but yeah, if you angle it, especially like it's about 100 like millimeters roughly. So, and if you angle the turret as well, you can almost be immune from quite a few vehicles.
Yeah,
this thing can be a bit of an APHE trap. If it's hit by big enough APHE, it will spread out and damage the crew. Same with the hatch here is a bit of a weak spot too. But overall, this armor is really good at catching like rushed shots. So it's a really nice addition in the tree as well. It's currently, I think, in the left side, and we can just show you. Currently here, after the Crusader Mark II.
Yeah, it's a 3.0 with like a slightly angled turret that has almost 80 millimeters of armor. The only downside of it is if you peek somebody and then you shoot back with your toothpick there, you're not going to do... Well, 90 millimeters of pen is okay. Yeah. Especially at 3.0, like against weaker armored stuff. If you run into KV-1, I don't know. But
you do have other vehicles at 3.0 if you are going to meet heavier armor. But yeah, it's quite similar to the AC-1. But all the same, nice to see in the tree. I'll quickly show you these as well. We have HMS Samarez as well here. I don't know too much about it. I think this was involved in sinking Scharnhorst actually with torpedoes. I can't remember too much. But it does feel like a little bit of a gap in the early destroyer line for Britain because they mostly only have the 102 guns at 4.3. So this has 420 millimeter guns. And it has the nice color scheme as well on the top, which I really like. I like the look of these destroyers a lot. Same guns, really, nothing too distinct from what we have already. Just a different platform and different arrangements. It's nice to see that too. And I'll also show you Nelson, which is the new premium, the sister of Rodney. They're very similar. Same in a similar way to Maryland. Nelson is basically just a slightly more forgiving version of Rodney. So the crew complement is higher and it has more anti-air protection. It does have a little bit more armor, I think, at the front here in place of the torpedoes that Rodney has. So it's a little bit different, but still quite similar. A little bit more survivable, better anti-air defense, a little bit of armor at the front, but no torpedoes at the front. But still a very nice one to see. It's one of my favorite designs overall for battleships. I like weird looking stuff, so I do like this one.
It looks so weird at the back. There's a bunch of ship missing.
I know what you mean.
No,
it does.
The front is like imposing, strong, powerful, and the back is just kind of ran out of budget. Sorry.
Yeah. Either way, really nice. So hopefully you can give that a go later. Onto some more friends on your end, I think.
I think so. Yes. For the British tree, Tom doesn't show them a little bit. It has a little bit of a vehicle there at the end. We have 3 new F-18s that are joining the ranks. For one, we have a premium Canadian, which, well, the Canadians like their interesting naming scheme here, the CF-188A. Coming in with a lot of similar armament. I think we've seen it on especially on the US FA-18s that we have. This one is able to field. We'll quickly glance over it so you have a good look at it. A lot of cast capabilities. You have Maverick missiles, you have paveways, and you can field the AIM-9L and AIM-7P kind of compartment. As you can see here, I think up to 8 missiles on the premium 12.7 version. As said, similar to some other nations, but kind of filling a gap and role that the British tree had so far. Also, of course, the tech tree version. This is the I think the Australian one.
Yeah.
The Australian FA-18A. Kind of same thing again. You have a compartment of complement. Why am I saying compartment? A complement of missile loadouts over here. Some close air support stuff. As you see, no Mavericks on this particular one. I think you can only field walleyes on a 12.3.1, which is it's not exactly limiting because you still have ordnance, but obviously Maverick might be a little bit better. And then the top tier one, which is able to field M120s. Of course, a bunch of other close air support options as well. Mavericks, you have a lot of GPUs, some JDAMs, and the M9M. You can use this like typical one. I personally, whenever I play air, I usually I don't do close air support because I only play air basically.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I chose to be the airman in a way. You can bring up to, as you can see here, kind of 12 missiles with the racks. You can stack a lot of GBUs and other ground support ordnance, and you can mix and match it between. Very nice. Gives Britain more capabilities.
Yeah, it's nice to see the representation for Australia as well and Canada.
Yes, the Commonwealth in play over here.
Absolutely.
And then you might already see it. I think this is the
tallest boy.
Yeah. I did joke about it previously. I feel like every new patch that is currently coming, there's a new skyscraper that is appearing in the game. I think we had the what was it? The spider for Israel, where it was like, okay, this is truly the largest vehicle that we've ever had. But this thing is so huge that you cannot show the entirety of the antenna, which has like 3 different portions that are like hydraulically controlled when you want to bring it down, right? Good luck hiding with this, because this is a 5-story building, right? And the TEL system, of course, is big as well. Fills one hole that the British air defense systems had so far. Comes with a very powerful missile as well. Want to hover over here as well. You have the CAM and the CAM ER, not quite as fast as the book missile, coming in at 1,028 meters per second as maximum speed. But if you look, I think since we're already not going to launch at anything 70 kilometers away, this kind of like max launch range of 45 kilometers and this like 16 kilometer effective range is going to be very good. Gives you a lot of abilities here. Briefly go to the TEL system as well. That's also just gigantic. Yes. You have trouble getting them on the screen, and then it's just like double the size. It's crazy.
Indeed,
it's an absolutely huge vehicle. I think good addition, covers this kind of like air support gap again. You're already looking at the next thing, but I think before talking about that, I will just immediately switch over it. Let's start looking at the Oplot.
It's so bulky looking. I really like it. It's such a nice design.
I think this, from the vehicles that are coming in this patch, even though I like playing air a lot, this is probably the one that I think is the coolest vehicle.
Yeah.
As an addition, because it just looks so unbelievably armored, like you have this array of like side armor completely covering the tracks. You have a lot of like ERA systems in the front. Even your smoke launchers are kind of like neatly tucked away. You have even one thing that I personally think is going to troll some people when they're fighting this, because of course the lower plate is something you might want to shoot on T-series tanks, but on this, if you try to shoot the low plate over here, you have a rubber layer in
the
front.
Silhouette,
it's actually lower than the lower front plate itself. So I do believe that we're going to see people just miss because they're shooting a little bit too low and it's going past and it's not hitting the actual like crew compartment.
So the ERA is placeholder at the moment, so we can't show the exact protection, but that's being worked on literally right now.
It's still like it's still not quite finished, but as you can see here, this is a lot of layers of protection. You even have an APS system. Let me hover over that again,
and a very nice reverse gear as well. It can actually go back,
which is that is a unique feature for not a lot of T-series tanks being able to do that.
Yeah, it's very, very mobile, and especially for Japan, it adds a play style that wasn't really available before. So it's really nice. The only thing that I can see being a bit problematic about it is the big sight on the top is like a huge HE magnet.
Yeah,
and that's
true.
Just going to plop you. But
I think it is a little bit of a switch because, as you've mentioned, right? I will just briefly hover it in a tech tree here to talk about that, because the current top-of-the-line vehicles for Japan, especially the Type 10, I always used to call this a glass cannon because it kind of is, right? It doesn't have a lot of armor. You have a very powerful gun. You have very good mobility. But you can't really brawl, in like a lot of situations. Even to the point where like some vehicles that are, just IFVs running around will have an okay time trying to get side shots and like...
The reaction time window that the Oplot would have is so much better because with the Type 10, etc., it's very easy to like point and click on it quickly. With this, you need to spend a little bit more time, and that little bit more time is going to really help. So
yeah, exactly. Very well armored, very cool looking, and I think especially for Japan and kind of like the playstyle, adds something that which role wasn't filled as so far.
I think it has a little bit worse gun depression, but I think it's one of those where the top of the hull is already slightly angled down, so it has like an extra degree technically.
Yes, the banana barrel over here.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yep. Can we check the transmission to see how quick I can go backwards? I think it's about 30 in reverse. Yeah, so it can actually pull back quite nicely.
About 10 times as fast as most T-Series tanks, which is very interesting, to be honest.
It's really nice,
yeah. It's not the only vehicle that is coming as part of the Type 3, of course. We have the edition. I think this is an anti-air gun that is filling a gap that existed so far.
5.3 to
because
8.3.
You have the Mitsubishi Sub 1.2 over here, and then you have the Type 87. Obviously, that's a good gun, but you kind of there's an entire battle rating lower where you will have an AA gun that it might not be able to shoot very far because of course it's a 20 millimeter, but especially at 7.3 it should allow you to have some better defenses. And then you also see the M60A3 text-to-speech. We already have a couple of these in the game. This is functionally the same as some of the other versions that we have, but again, kind of a similar thing. It fills a gap that so far you didn't necessarily have filled. Infantry a little bit better armored, and then the Stingray.
Yep.
The return. We talked about it in the US tree. Of course, this was sold to, I think, 100 units or so were bought by Thailand.
Sure.
Something like that. As a like export vehicle designed by some US company. Gives you very good utility in Japan because it kind of adds this like light, very mobile vehicle. Of course, you had wheeled vehicles that were filling this like very mobile role, not quite as like a tracked vehicle though. I think a very interesting, very cool addition, and together with some of the other stuff, like
it complements what was there very nicely.
And again, another vehicle that I think is a good thing that fills the gap in the Japanese tree is the Indonesian MI-35. Doesn't come with Vickers. It has the stationary 30 millimeter Gish cannon, this like double barrel thing, which you can't freely swivel it, which means you have to point your nose exactly at the target you want to shoot. But if you hit, it's going to do a lot of damage.
It's very powerful,
right?
And at the moment, it's on a branch after the AH-1E, so you can research that before you go to the S.
Yep. And there you go. Which, it being at kind of this like 9-7 area, a lot of the helicopters that you have in this area for the Japanese are TOWs. And TOWs are good, but they have a limited range. And this being able to use some, longer range missiles over here might give you a little bit more utility as well. I think interesting addition. I mean, these kind of like big MI series helicopters usually also very survivable.
Yeah.
Again, comes with all the avionics blocks to balance it out a little bit more as well. And gives another, cool bit of utility for the Japanese tree. And now the final thing, because I already see that you want to talk about the
I've got it prepared.
Tsugaru, but I briefly want to mention the F5TH, which I assume stands for Thai. I think this is the most modern, upgraded F5 that we have in the game. They did a lot of, modernization for this one.
Only one gun.
Because of that, with one gun, I think they had to they had to change portions of like the nose. They had to like somehow cram an entirely new radar in there. They removed one of the guns, I assume. For that one, there's probably more. I mean, I think this doesn't quite do it justice.
No, it's probably it's a little bit bigger internally.
This one allows you, and I think a lot of people will fall victim to this because you don't expect it, right? You don't expect an F5 to be able to launch turret missiles at you. Yeah. You have very powerful missiles in this one, only 4, but 4 very powerful missiles. I mean, Typhoon 3. Why must Python?
There we go.
Third time lucky. Python 3 missiles. Missiles that a long time ago when I was playing a lot, I used to frequently get team killed by these. So they're kind of infamous for me because they really just track very well. So
clearly not.
Well, they track very well also into me. So very hard to dodge. Very cool missile. And the derbies, of course, have radar capabilities on the F5 is very cool. Yeah, obviously you have some CAS options as well, which especially in the Japanese over here in the tree, slotting into the
tie line,
the kind of like the tie line where you have another vehicle kind of like filling this gap between the 11.3 and the 12.7 or 16. Very cool. All right.
Yep.
I see that you want to talk about it.
Yeah, I'll quickly cover Tsugaru. It's a bit of an interesting ship. It's not really like a destroyer. It's a mine layer. It's very slow, only 37 kilometers an hour, but it's very bulky. It's got a very big crew complement of 445, 4 guns, pretty standard really for the BR, and a ton of mines, probably multiple. So it does kind of fall into the mine layer trap of being a bit too slow to get to an area where the mines can be deployed properly. But it is very bulky, and I'm kind of interested to see how it will work because it's very easy to hit. But it's got a lot of crew. It's going to be hard to knock out. The ammo is pretty well protected. So it's very survivable, but very easy to hit. I don't know how that's really going to crossover. So it's a nice one. It's a very interesting ship. I don't know too much about it. But from playing around with it, I'll definitely give this a go when the update comes out. So it's a nice, interesting addition. Something that wasn't there before. So it's cool to see it. And moving on to China, I will show you the Qing 6. Which is a advanced B6.
Blue.
It's blue. Has quite powerful engines. So it's much faster. Much. It's faster relatively for such a bulky plane like this. So armament is basically the same. It has the incendiary bombs that only China uses. And I can also just very briefly show you a new quality of life system for the gunners.
Oh, yes.
Which I've been waiting to see for a while. So previously, when your gunners couldn't track anything, so like here, there's no arc here, your gunners would stay in a static position. But as you can see, the top dorsal turret here is following where I'm pointing. So right now I can't fire, but if I slowly move it up, it's already there and it will start firing. So if there's somebody approaching you from down here, for example, as soon as they get into the view, the gunner's already there and it's looking at them. So that will really speed up the reaction time of the gunners, like AI and controlling them manually. And it's really nice. I've been waiting to see this for a really long time.
Yeah.
And yeah, so just quickly show you that. Aside from that, it's just a faster B6 with some good ordnance options. And it's the first premium bomber for China. They didn't have one before. So I think this is a really good pick and one I'm very happy to see. Excellent. And you've got some more stuff to observe as well.
Yes. But still, briefly, just want to mention it, right? I've fallen victim to like my machine gunners not like, being in a position that I thought that would be, especially when you're like mid maneuvers. So that's personally a change that I really, really value, nice. That I think is very good. All right, coming back to some other vehicles. Some people have already spied on your end. We have the VT4 coming as a texture vehicle for China, sitting right behind the MBT 2000, and it comes with some advancements compared to that vehicle. You finally, have your smoke cartridges, which on the MBT 2000 you can just kind of machine gun them. If you want to troll somebody, that is, you have a quite easy time for that one if you wanted to. You have a very nice like kind of reactive armor layer and like honeycomb in front of the gun. Looks very modern. You have a Very good shell.
It's a very aesthetically pleasing vehicle as well. Like I love how these look.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of this like this fusion between like the Western MBT kind of like
I know what you mean.
design philosophy with like a very protected frontal turret, and I think obviously like the you can see that this was inspired by like Russian T-series tanks at some point.
What's the reverse speed on it?
Let's have a look at that, which
Pretty
is quite
solid,
fast. Yes, I mean if you compare like a T64 or T72,
you are an arcade, I think.
You are right. Switch over, but we are still not slow.
Yeah, I just noticed the horsepower was like 3,000. So
yeah, but lucky that it didn't switch to 3 kilometers now. Yeah, but very very powerful vehicle. I would say quite protected from the front as well. Good kind of like turret defense layer over here. Also very cool coaxial. Like anti-air.
Yeah, the roof mounted gun looks really like futuristic and cool.
Yeah, you have a lot of these like just kind of like very open vehicles with this like kind of like rustic one. This I very much like the look.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, has a very nice touch to it, and
as you can see, the camo is sort of half there at the moment. So it will have a digital scheme. Just the barrel.
You can see it on the barrel right now. Yeah,
but that'll be completely finished. So don't worry about that. Yeah,
indeed. Nice. All right, switching back.
Yeah, I'll very briefly show you this one. It's an Italian coastal vessel. It's actually going to be pretty good. So this has one of the best coastal guns, the very fast-firing Bofors, alongside the ship being very quick and steel hull, so it's a bit more survivable. I mean, I'll briefly show you just how powerful the VT rounds are in terms of filler. Like, this gun is really good.
Shoot it.
It's great. You will knock stuff out super quick. It's proxy for aircraft as well. It's a bit like the Schütze class that Germany got a couple of updates ago, but it's a bit more survivable and faster as well. So this is going to be very mean, and I'm excited to play it. So, yeah.
I saw a little question from a smiler in the chat. Like, is the Oplot's reverse speed in RB also 32 kilometers? Yes. Just to make sure that we weren't like we weren't going to be on that one. Just to make sure.
You've got some anti-air stuff to look at.
Yeah, you have the one brief thing to look at. This is a vehicle we obviously have in the game already, but we have a new module that is being allowed in here, the Boss, with the new pod over here that allows you to automatically discharge. Gives you a little bit of utility. I know some people have asked for that, so wanted to briefly mention that one. Cool Edition allows you to, stay a little safer, I guess, and to look at something that keeps you even safer. I think this is filling a big role, especially in the Italian tree, which for years and years and years and years, the automatic was like the end of the line anti-air gun. And obviously you had the Osa and the Strela recently as additions, but this is going to be keeping the sky much clearer for Italy itself.
Yes.
The SAMP system with the Aster-30 missile, which, if you have a look at it again, 1,500 meters per second is an extremely fast missile. You have up to 100 kilometers of launch range. Again, I don't think you're going to shoot something down that is 100 kilometers away.
Potential's there, though.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe somebody is taking a expedition to the outer edges of the map. Maybe you'll see them. But people probably will not just be able to fly away from you. Extremely powerful missile on, again, like the good TL system. It's not quite as huge as some of the other stuff. It's a little bit more,
more
condensed down. And this is not the only nation that is getting a system with the SAMP-PT, because France also has it.
Yep.
On the very kind of
I like the look of the cabin,
the truck is just like when I think like the most truck-looking truck we've had in a while.
It is a truck.
This is like the European standard like truck. I don't know. It's just like I found this funny when I saw it. Again, Aster-30 missile, filling a gap in capabilities for both Italy and France, which should make it much easier to kind of keep control of the skies.
Pretty nice. So we only have 5 minutes left, so I will quickly show you the next naval stuff coming for France. So we have, if I can remember how to pronounce it, I can't really.
The Gloire. Maybe.
There you go. So this is a slightly improved version of the previous cruiser in the line. Anti-air defense is better, higher crew count, and a faster fire rate on the guns. It's a nice addition. Very nice to see. We have the premium version of MAN here, which I think is pronounced like N or something like that. I tried to learn it earlier, but it still confuses my brain. So yeah, this is a really powerful ship. It's very weak to aircraft and very weak to torpedoes, but in a good position at range, it can be pretty mean. So it's going to be a nice one to go through the tree with. We also have Intrepid here, which is that was awful, probably pronunciation. But this one's actually quite interesting. It's got the standard Bofors at the front, the steel hull, so it's a bit more survivable. It has this controllable torpedo tube at the back, which can fire all of these. And so you can just sort of poke your rear out of the, like behind an island or something, and just fire these off, because this can traverse all the way around. And that's a nice little addition there. So I'm quite looking forward to this one. We won't show you just for time, but the Fokker has a cockpit as well. So this is now updated. Cool. Maybe the guys on the next stream will show you that. But yeah, it's nice to see too. Yeah.
And briefly, because we don't want to forget it, we have a new squadron vehicle added for France as well, the F-16A OCU from Belgium. We have a lot of F-16s obviously in the game. Good addition over here, filling one of these like kind of holes. And then to jump over, this is a return of a friend, basically.
Absolutely.
I think, yeah, true. This is
the arcade at the top.
Yes, this is a return of the CV9105. We used to have the model that you see now as the one for the premium CV9105, which obviously that was changed at some point because
to maintain the abilities of this one, it was modified basically.
Yeah, because when it was added, it had like thermals and a couple other, stabilizer and some other stuff. And so the model was switched. Of course, we don't want to take all of that away on a premium vehicle. So it was retained. And now, because, friend is just
it's nice to have it. It's a good addition to have in the tree now. And nice to see it back, absolutely.
So, as said, like for me, kind of like the return of a friend. I like this kind of like turret design. More so than on the CV9105. I also played it a lot back then, I remember. So I don't know. I have this pull to this like kind of glass cannon, like high mobility vehicles.
Yeah, they're nice. They're nice.
And, it's quite mobile. It's it has a lot of viable positions, and it has a very good like gun oppression, which allows it to like do a lot of peaking and a lot of like angling around like hills and inclined positions. I always like that a lot. Then you see them on the screen.
I can briefly show you these.
The three musketeers. No, it's mosquitoes.
Close enough. So yes, for Norway in the Swedish line, I'll show you briefly where they are. Currently sitting here. There are 3 mosquitoes. So this is an RAF roundels, but this is from 333 Squadron. So this is the actual camouflage. They use these roundels here. So this is the F Mark II. It's a derivative of the night fighter version, so it has the covers here for the exhausts. This one has no ordnance, but aside from that, it's the same as the B Mark IV. This is the B Mark IV, so the standard one that you know and hopefully love, because it's a very cool plane. Also here. And then the Ash version, which is a air-to-surface radar. It's an anti-ship. It's a surface Navy radar, so it can detect service vessels. And this has the same ordnance as the B version, or the FB version, excuse me, but loses the rifle caliber guns, only 20 millimeter. So Sweden will get 3 of these. I can also confirm that Britain will get a couple more as well. They will get the NF Mark II in like a full like night fighter black scheme, which is quite cool. And they will also get the TR-33 Navy version as well. And not this update, but hopefully next update, they will get another quite interesting version of the Mosquito as well. I will leave you to surmise what that version could possibly be. But if you know mosquitoes, you probably know. But I'm quite looking forward to that.
I want to briefly go back because some people have asked. The ammo that you got on the CV90 105 TML over here is the M23, 338 millimeters of pen. At 8.7, that's a lot of pen, I would say. You're probably not going to run into any trouble. It's kind of like a tier 1 model. Then some heat, some hash. I think I never use hash anyways, but it's, Yeah, I always get screamed at you for not using any HE anyways, so...
That's true.
An absolute classic. Yeah, we're running out of time here. Otherwise, we would have been able to show you some of the map reworks, but I think you might
our colleagues
see
in a moment when they start their stream will be able to show you.
Yes.
So make sure to watch them. They'll show you some things that we didn't show you, and probably go into a bit more technical detail as well, because they work a bit more directly with these systems. So thank you so much for spending the hour with us, and I hope it was informative enough in the brief amount of time that we have. A couple of hours or so, hopefully, the dev server should be available so you can play on it yourself, watch some other streams of some others playing it too. And hopefully it was a nice showcase, and make sure to tune into our colleagues in a moment and they will show you some extra stuff.
Yes. Hopefully. Thank you very much for watching from me as
much.
well. I hope we see us again.
Well.
And otherwise, yes, the dev server will open soon, hopefully. And
soon, there'll be an announcement and all the details and everything.
All of you can hopefully enjoy all the things that are coming in next patch. All right, thank you for watching.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Until next time.
Yes, see you very soon. Thank you. Goodbye.